Hey, let's check in with Little Big by John Crowley. This is about part four, which I went back and I listened to little snippets throughout part four to try and fix some of it in my mind. It really is, I feel like I'm in fairyland in this book, which, I mean, I guess you got to say that's the power of this book. Um, I'm enjoying it. I don't know how much of it is going to stay with me. Um, we open it with lilac on the back of a swan, but they're the size of of a midge with a little old lady, and they fly into the mother's room, Sophie's room, and she grabs a bit of hair and yells at her to wake up. And this is she's doing this instead of having to go to sleep herself, and the old woman is congratulating herself on raising her so that she doesn't just kind of drift off into indifference, which I think a human being would in this world. um so yeah, it's just like weird stuff. And then Sophie wakes up and we have a whole thing of kind of smoky with these two women who are, Sophie isn't aging. Like she's getting older, but she still seems like she's 16. Whereas Alice Daly, her hair isn't going gray, but it's going less blonde. And he's also bemused by his adult daughters and their rampant sexuality, which, you probably tell them more about it than they would to another other girls tell their fathers. But yeah, still, he's kind of groaning under the kind of expanding himself to take in their lives, and it's kind of groaning as to what his persona is, that he can expand out enough. So we have all that. Um, we have this weird section of just in the fairyland, and there's like a we I guess with Lilac and that, going to the Kronos, the guy who was the old god, who then got given the power of time, and he's declaring like there's a time war going on. Like, this is war. Don't you know there's a war on, boys? It's like it's that echoing kind of thing. And there's a reification of that later, where another figure says, like, you must change your life. You must change your life, which is just like one of these powerful reverberating statements that kind of echoes from fairyland into kind of the shaking of what our everyday world is like, and how that reverberates in, and indeed it explodes like a bomb. And we have Oberon. Oberon, first as a kid in this world, dealing with the old Oberon's pictures, but eventually giving that up as just something you can't kind of really. It's like, oh, it's evidence, but then it turns out it's not really evidence, or it's not as stunning as it was, and it fades, and he puts away that. And then he's gone to the city, and he's with Sylvie, and Sylvie's like, oh God, I think I have a destiny, but I don't know if Oberon is a part of that destiny. And she goes to a seer woman and asks to have her destiny taken out, and very much, and really nearly almost does, but then at the last minute says, no, no, don't, and it almost blows away the old woman, but she's okay. um, and they're in poverty, and there's a sort of a thing of like, she's really kind of stuck, and he is very good natured and does stuff, but kind of still resents her for having to be good natured, and her not thanking him for being good natured. And she's like, she doesn't know about, like, should I go to his family? They've lost a kid, and here I would be. They're tall white people, and I'm this short brown woman, and it's like I'd have to be walking around underneath them, holding tight my kids so that they didn't get taken too. And she's going to get, she says, oh, there's a producer that's going to have her be a script girl, but it's kind of like, is it going to be a script girl? Is it going to be someone who's going to try and take advantage of her? And then she becomes winged messenger, and it's like the final bits of the book. It's like she's taking stuff. She's taking a box, an odd-shaped box, to somebody. And then we shift into, yes, this kind of weird fellow who's like, I've been around forever and ever, and I'm aching because I haven't ridden a horse for like thousands of years, but I read one. And then he does this whole speech of, you must change your life, you must change your life. And we kind of clip back to Sophie, and she's walking in New York, and she looks up at the zodiac that they have there, but it was always a reverse zodiac, and now the zodiac is the right way, and nobody else seems to notice. And it's like you get this feeling like, has she just jumped dimensions? Has she shifted dimensions? There's been another explosion, and you wonder if this is the Chronos, this is the war, and it's like, this is the giant ripple, and maybe it's displaced her. You wonder. And indeed, at the very end, Oberon goes back to their tiny little apartment with the bed that was built by Drinkwater, and everything that is hers is gone. Like every single thing, all her little mementos, all her dresses, everything. Sylvia's stuff is gone. Sylvia is gone. And there's a talk of like, he's determined to die of love. And I wonder if he's going to die of love because his love is gone. And I don't even know if she's gone in her own free will, or if it's a representation of just, no, it doesn't work out, and she doesn't love him. Or maybe she does love him, but she has to leave. It's just, yeah. So multiple levels, all kind of swirling at the same time. Very hard to nail things down. I do find, I'm glad I'm listening to this in an audiobook, because it's a swirl, it's an emotion, it's a mood, it's a half-remembered dream that rapidly retreats on you as you're listening, as you're reading, as you're trying to comprehend. Yeah, so it's an experience. It's a very odd experience, very maybe legitimately kind of magical experience. I'll give it that, even though I don't know if I quite remember everything. Sort of reminds me of Angela Carter and the Infernal Desire Machines of Dr. Hoffman. There is that sort of kind of like, whoa. Though actually, I think Angela Carter is a little bit more structured than this. There's just the swirl of like, you're within this family and all the characters here. And actually, Angela Carter is like, actually, there's Deserito. It's very kind of specific, kind of a couple. Whereas this is like a whole family with multiple people and multiple generations. And the Fisher King and the fish in the water, the old fish king in the water. Yeah, yeah. Magical stuff. All right, I will leave it there. Next up, part 5.